Hi everybody, it's Ernie Sabella, the voice of Pumbaa from The Lion King. And I'm telling you to like this video and subscribe to Carny's YouTube channel.
Hey guys, it's Carny. How's it going? Fellas, it's good to see you. Ladies, I don't even need to say anything. You know how good it is to see you. So I released a 3-song EP not too long ago, back in November actually.
Okay, fine, you got me. I hate everything! I hate my job! I hate my parents! I hate my girl!
Link in the description. And I'm very proud of it. I like it. I think it's good. I wish more people knew about it. I am proud of it. And yet, I have not promoted it at all. Like, at all. And it's not because I don't want to. And it's definitely not because I think I don't have to. It's because I just don't think I can. The amount of time and effort it takes to, quote unquote, properly promote music today is almost impossible. If you're not aware of what I mean when I talk about what it means to properly promote your music in 2025, let me run it down for you. And please keep in mind, I am not embellishing any of this. This is actually things that I've seen on these YouTube accounts and Instagram accounts of here's how to promote your music, here's how to get people to listen to your music, blah, blah, blah. You need to release a single every month, or at least every 6 weeks. So somewhere between 8 and 12 fully produced songs a year. You have to post short form, vertical content that is eye-catching and original, but is still somehow always about your music at least once a day, but it's encouraged to be more. So probably between 400, 500 YouTube shorts, TikToks, Reels, however you want to call it, every year. You have to play shows often enough to where you may attract new fans. So if you play a show to no one, doesn't count, sorry. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, get on out there again. Being extra conservative, I'll say 40 shows a year. Do you see how far away this feels now that I've said all that? Let's talk about each one of these one at a time and really break down, what exactly is being asked of music artists to complete them. First, a single a month. So I guess you gotta write 12 songs a year. That seems easy enough, right? And on some level, yes, it is. I think most artists are capable of writing 12 songs in a year, but it isn't really that simple. Most songs you write aren't going to be great. So immediately you have to write a lot more than 12 songs to get to 12 good songs. And beyond that, even if they're good, some songs just aren't singles. Back in the day, singles were literally smaller records, and they had 2 songs on each side. They had an A side and they had a B side. The consumer would buy those, and if they liked them enough, then that would maybe entice them to buy the whole album. And there are a lot of songs that people could write that would be amazing, 7-minute epic album closers. But those songs would be terrible singles. But the album is dead, so I guess we're just doing singles for the foreseeable future here. Now let's talk about the cost of making those singles. Now I live in Los Angeles, so I'm used to Los Angeles pricing. I acknowledge that some of these services are probably cheaper elsewhere, but also most of the best producers, mix engineers, mastering engineers live in LA. So the premium you're paying for, it kind of makes sense. Most producers worth their salt charge at least $1,000 a song. Let's say you're really on a budget and you have a buddy who is a producer and he's like, hey man, I want to help you out. And you find someone to do it for $500 a song. That is still $6,000 a year. Most really good mix engineers charge around $500 a song. So that's another $6 grand. Mastering costs can vary, but I'll say conservatively, maybe an average, we'll say $300 a song. We are at over $15,000 already just to make 12 professional grade songs. But Carny, we don't need to do that anymore. All you need is a computer and an interface and you can just do it yourself. No, you can't. I'm sorry, but I am so tired of everyone thinking oh, well, I could just produce myself. No, you can't. Not without years and years and years of practice and studying and thousands of hours and days of time sunk into it. I tried to do exactly that. I spent 2 years just eating, sleeping, breathing music production. And by the time I got relatively good enough at it to make my own stuff, I was so burnt out that I just didn't want to do it anymore. And I literally almost quit music entirely. And also, even if you make your own stuff, you're gonna have to buy the gear. There is a reason that every studio has these hardware EQs and compressors that all cost $5 grand. And no, I'm sorry again, the $20 plugin emulation is not good enough to replicate it. I really don't want to start a gear doesn't matter argument here. I promise I have done my research. It absolutely does. If you want to go independent, you gotta pony up some cash. An overwhelming majority of artists should go out and get a producer to help them make their stuff. But I can't even recommend that in good conscience because it costs so much. I have had so many homie rates and friend deals and favors called in, and I still can barely afford it, and I constantly have to save up to be able to do it again. Okay, so let's talk about number 2. The short form vertical content. Making short form vertical content has become a big part of the job for independent artists. Such a big part that it's basically become a bigger part of the job than making the music itself. And before anyone comments about how it's actually really easy, anyone who has tried to seriously make short form content will tell you that no, it is not just holding up your phone, clicking record, and then hitting post. You have to come up with an idea that no one has ever seen before, and then pray that the algorithm shows it to people. And then you have to pray again that they'll like it. And if they do like it, hooray! Now you have to make different versions of that same video over and over and over again until you have beaten it to death. Take Kevin Tierney, for example. You may know him as the "We Were High School Sweethearts" guy. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's this.
We were high school sweethearts, say you couldn't stay cause you had to move away, so we tried long distance. But one day you texted me to say that you wanna break up. I asked why, and you said to me that you found another guy.
Now here's the thing, if you have seen this guy before, you might be thinking, wait a minute, that's not the video I saw from him. And I believe you, because this guy has made hundreds upon hundreds of videos doing the exact same video for the exact same song. I would call him crazy, but in some ways, he's the only one that's not. He knows this is what he has to do to get numbers on Instagram and TikTok. And here's the thing, all right? The song is bad, but he's getting all these clicks because people think it's funny and they send it to their friends. And the stupid algorithm is like, man, everybody loves this. But then artists who make really good music, but they don't have some weird or funny angle attached to it, they look at this guy and they're just like, what the hell? It may even get to the point where you start looking at your own music and you're wondering like, well, is this just like not good enough? And maybe like that's why it's not getting engagement on social media. And then you get depressed because this is your thing. Music is what makes you you. And your music is not good enough to break through to an audience, says the algorithm. But don't be depressed too long, because you know what? Tomorrow, you're gonna have to make, I don't know, 1 to 3 videos with new ideas that are better than the one you tried today. I was on TikTok posting all the time for like a year. I did okay. I got to 12,000 followers, which like, that's not huge, but it's not nothing either. Just getting to that took so much energy and time. And I quit TikTok after that. I burned myself out so much that I don't even go to watch anymore, let alone post. Okay, number 3, playing shows. I hate playing shows, which is such a shame because it used to be the thing that I dreamt of doing the most when I was a kid who wanted to be a rock star. Nothing was more exciting to me than the idea of like working a crowd and hearing them sing my lyrics back to me. And nothing was more disappointing than becoming an adult and realizing that 9 times out of 10, playing a show means this. The only people who hear your music at most shows that musicians play are the bartenders and the other bands. And I've had friends come out to shows of mine in the past, and I really appreciate that a lot. But I don't think anyone has enough friends to fill a bar, and that's like if you brought all your friends. So when I have like 2 friends show up, that still means the world, but like it's not like it makes it feel any different, you know, crowd-wise. It's like the algorithm not showing your video to people but like in person. And this isn't even mentioning the fact that most shows that you pay as an artist trying to like get your start are pay to play. Oh, sorry, my bad. It's not pay to play. It's pay for the tickets, but there's like a minimum number of tickets that you have to pay for. But then you get to sell the tickets at whatever price you want. And then like if you don't sell them, like you have to eat the cost of that. But like nobody's like making you pay to play at the venue. And then now we have to talk about the fact that if you make anything other than folk music, you need a band. And maybe where you live, you know a ton of people that will play for free, and they're also good players. Great. If that is so, God bless you, I'm happy for you. But in LA at least, everyone needs to get paid. Imagine playing a show where you had to spend $100 on 10 tickets, and then you only sold 3 of them. Then you, as an artist whose music requires a drummer, a bass player, and a guitar player, also need to shell out $100 a pop for those guys. That is $400 spent and 30 recouped to play at a show where the only people in attendance are the 3 people you brought and the 3 other bands on the bill. I'll chop that a bit to make it even a little more conservative. I'll say it's $300 a show. Multiplying that by the figure that already is probably too conservative, that's 40 shows a year. We're at $12,000 a year to play shows to nobody. But Carny, you don't need a band. You can just go play by yourself. You know, just you and a guitar. Okay, well you better be the best guy with a guitar that they have ever seen, because the market is very saturated with guy with guitar at these shows. If you've been to any of them, then you know that's true. Well, why don't you just use a loop station? Same problem. There's a million loop station guys now too. I have released 3 songs that I'm very, very proud of.
When I was 23, I had a therapist who said I deserved to be angry at my dad and my brother and my friends.
Link in the description. That I cannot bring myself to promote, because the second I start to do anything, it feels like I am not doing enough. And it's not just me. I know people personally, professionally, who all feel the same way. I know friends of friends that are successful content creators / independent artists. They even have a label. Exact same problems. Labels do not know how TikTok works. All they know is that it's something they can hand to their artists and be like, oh yeah, like that's how marketing's done nowadays. You do the marketing so we don't have to. Obviously, I'm generalizing a bit with the numbers, but I genuinely believe that they're still pretty conservative relatively. And we made it to almost $30,000 in costs a year to make quality music and promote it. And that is not even including if you did like Instagram ads or something. But I don't know, maybe those are LA numbers. Maybe it's less expensive somewhere else. So you know what we'll do? We'll cut it in half. Now we're at $15,000. Does that make anyone feel better? It is just not doable for anyone who doesn't have rich parents or, I don't know, like a patron. But my final note, I think this is probably the most important part. I do want to make sure after all this negativity, I do say this. If you're an independent artist and you're feeling discouraged right now about all of this, just know this is not your fault. You are not doing anything wrong. The only thing you could do wrong is stop making music. Even if you make it just to listen to it on your own, it is still worth it. It is worth making it, and I hope you never have to stop doing it. I normally would be like, here's what we're gonna do to fix it. I don't know what we're gonna do to fix it. But music is important, art is important, and it will continue to exist. There is no question about that whatsoever. In some ways, art thrives in situations like this because people have to work with what they're given and they make things that are really close to their heart because they're going through it. Any hard things people are going through or hard feelings they're experiencing because of those things can be channeled into art. That's what I'm trying to say. So just keep channeling it. I don't know, music's not going anywhere. Fellas, it was good to see you, and say something nice to the ladies on the way out.
Hi everybody, it's Ernie Sabella, the voice of Pumbaa from The Lion King. And I'm telling you to like this video and subscribe to Carny's YouTube channel. That's Carny's YouTube channel.